Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors, episode 107.
Welcome to Life by Design, the podcast for chiropractors. Here's your host, Dr. Jamie Richards.
Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Richards, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Horatio Jug. He's on the road along with Dr. Rochelle, so the content is fantastic. The audio is well above average, and I think you're going to get lots out of today's episode. But if you wonder what's happening, it's Horatio's in the car, Rochelle's in the car, and we're talking about list building, something that in the pre-show we were going in the direction of speaking on email and why we send so many emails and how to create email content. And then we realized that maybe people didn't really realize what a list was, why you needed a list, how to build a list. And on today's episode, Horatio shares a couple tips that I think you're going to get a lot of value from, tips that I never would have thought of that you should be doing long before you just start, firing off lead magnets and driving traffic. So definitely listen to today's episode all the way through to the end. As well, pay close attention for the first link to the Life by Design Light group. That's our new group that's going to launch soon. Somewhere in the next few weeks, you're going to see a link, and that link, as being a Life by Design listener, is going to get you access to the Life by Design Light group as a bonus offer, free dollars. You're going to be able to jump in the group and get some content and test it out for yourself. And we're really excited. I think it's going to be a great entry point for a lot of people. So check that out and enjoy today's episode of Life by Design for Chiropractors. Horatio and Rochelle, welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This is the first time we've tag teamed this week, Rochelle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Tag team in effect.
Tag team back again.
We were saying we did this with the Life by Design podcast for those who listen to both podcasts, and we were realized that there's probably no context for the Life by Design group, but that reminds me of the old On Purpose on the Road podcast or tape series.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's old. I think it's still going.
It's still going. I just heard someone talking about it today, and I couldn't believe it's still going.
It's awesome.
Oh, good for them. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I remember we used to get the CDs from you, and they were mailed every month, and that was like the best mail day was getting those CDs.
Well, when I first started, I got tapes.
Yes.
That tells you a bit about my age.
Not that much older than us. Not that much older than us, buddy.
I guess I was at that one time, when they switched from tapes to CDs, but I used to look forward to it. They would come in the cardboard box with, wrapped in cardboard. And when it would come, I would not go to school that day. Actually, I would stay home from class. I didn't go to a lot of school. Well, that's it. I didn't go to a lot of school to start with, but the days they would come, I would stay home and I would listen to all 3 CDs right away. And the science CD, I would listen to multiple times. I'd get out the reference list. I'd go to the library. I'd pull some of the research articles, and I'd start to build this huge pile, this stack in my house of research on chiropractic and subluxation. So if I wanted to get into a battle with somebody, I had the big stack of research that I could pull from. And it's
interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, finish up because I'm going to.
I was just going to say, I was going to say it was interesting that I was pulling all that. It was probably from a maybe not a great place of self-esteem. I wanted to crush other people who didn't believe what I was starting to believe, but nonetheless, it drove me to get more knowledge, and I think that's what drove the certainty.
So if you want to say it in another way that we can link it into the intro for today's podcast, you were essentially building a list of research.
Yes, I was building a list of research. And, for those people listening to the podcast, hopefully you're getting our regular emails. And you probably noticed, I'll say a slight, but probably, let's be honest, a big uptick in the number of emails that you've been getting from us. And that's great. We've had a lot of people who have commented. I've got a lot of replies, which is fantastic. And, a lot of people, even when I said, hey, we might do a podcast every week, I got a bunch of emails back about that. So I think all over it's been great. And, we were going to talk today about email and why we send out so many emails and what that looks like and the purpose to your list and your community, your practice. And then Rochelle brought up a great point. And she said, thinking of it from a
either a newbie or just someone who doesn't do this type of stuff, they might even wonder, like, what's a list? And, what kind of list are you talking about? And how do you build a list? And why would you build a list? So I think we'll get into the emails later. If you're not getting our emails, because maybe you're listening thinking, I don't get an email even once a week, then just go to lifebydesignforchiropractors.com, scroll down to the very bottom of the page, and there's a free download there. And the free download right now, I'm on the website now, is 10 most common practice blind spots. So it's actually a great ebook that we put together. Take a look, audit yourself, ask yourself, do I have any of these blind spots in my practice? And by doing that, your name will get on our email list, and you'll get some of these regular emails that we're sending out. So, Cracio, let's start with the basic, what is a list and why is it important?
Yeah, so a list, if we want to look at it globally, it's an asset to your business, which I will explain in a little bit. But it's essentially a group of people that you have permission to contact on a regular basis. Now, the most common one nowadays would be an email list. So you have, what's considered a CRM or an email management system. You have emails stored in the system, and what you're doing is you're emailing them on a regular, or unfortunately for most chiropractors, on a non-regular basis. But back in the day, there were mailing lists, and essentially this is a group that has raised their hand or segregated themselves somehow to say that they're interested in what you have to offer and they would like to hear from you.
Right. And I think the important point, you think about a lot of either the newer grads or people who are maybe just learning about marketing, their first probably initial thought process is, well, why do I need a list? I have Facebook. Or why do I need a list? I have all these followers on Instagram.
In a way, it's interesting, right? Because in a way, that's kind of the same thing. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, because when you post something, essentially that's exactly what Facebook and Instagram are. When you post something, the people who have raised their hand or gotten on your list, also known as your friends or your followers, they're the ones that are going to see your content. So they've already voted in a way that they care enough about you to hear from you on a regular basis. So this is exactly the same thing. And it's good to have a lot of friends that like your business. It's good to have a lot of followers on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever social media platform. It's also good to have a lot of names on your email list. So this is, again, ways that you're going to constantly interact with people. Now, why is this a good thing? Well, this is a good thing because one of the things that you're going to need in order to survive in business is customers. And it's far easier to get customers from people who already know you, hear from you regularly, and trust you, which is what a list accomplishes, which is why it's an asset to your business. Now, remember, the definition of an asset is something that pays you money every month and something that's going to require your attention to nurture, right? So you have this list or this group of people who have said that they want to hear from you. Now it's important that they hear from you in a way that you can make your message important enough that when they're ready, they're going to contact you to want to do business.
Yeah. I think, I want to go back to that conversation just about, email versus social media and so on. There's 2 points as to why you want to get them on your email list. One of the big reasons is just the controllable nature of your email list. So, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, obviously it seems like Facebook is strong and Facebook owns Instagram and, it seems like they're going to be going for a long time, but you don't really have control over that. Facebook shuts down, let's say, as an example, then you lose access to all those people. Facebook decides that you get no organic reach, and they've already done that. What's that?
Right, or you get kicked off the platform, which is happening to a lot of people.
Sure, right. Or you get shut down in some way, shape, or form, or your ads account gets shut down. And I think that, already, if you just look at the organic reach on social media, it's plummeted over the last few years because these are businesses. And I mean, there's a whole other conversation when people get all up in arms about Facebook, charging money and, you have to pay money for people to see your stuff. It's a business, guys. And, you run a business, and it's always funny to me. I'll hear people say, well, I went to this place and they charged me for that. And I said, is it a business? And they said, well, yeah, but I can't believe they charged me for that. Well, it's a business. You're a business. You charge people for stuff, right? It's like they want everything else for free, but they want people to pay them. And so they can't figure out why, people aren't saying yes to their, care plans and things like that. But nonetheless, that's another side note. really the point is you want to be able to control access. And the best part about email, honestly, once you get them onto your email, forget about the fact that you control them and you can send them messages anytime you want, and you're going to get a much higher open rate / visibility rate compared to, your organic reach on social media. And then the other part is it's free. Right? Other than paying for the CRM, I can send 1 million emails a day if I want to. But if I really want to get that many people to see my content, I was just on my Facebook ads account. Just as an interesting side note, I was on Facebook ads account yesterday, and I was showing our associate doctor some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And because we opened the practice, we just had our 5th year anniversary, and I was looking at our Facebook ads account, and our ad spend in the last 4 years was about $20,000. Most chiropractors would lose their mind spending $20,000 on Facebook. But of course, they'll spend whatever $5,000 on the yellow pages, or whatever other avenue they're doing. But the fact of the matter is my CRM, I've only spent $400 a year on. And I spent $20,000 on Facebook, right? And I can send crazy amounts of emails, and we do send lots of emails. And emails still statistically is much, much better for selling than social media. Social media's purpose is not selling; it's to get names and emails. Off of
entertainment, right?
Yeah, it's entertain, to educate, and then build value, to position yourself. Know, like, and trust. And then if you do it really well, you can get names and emails and phone numbers off of Facebook, and then you get the real permission to get yourselves in their inbox, because getting in somebody's feed is very different than getting into their inbox.
Oh, totally. I agree with everything that you said. I think it's great. And, it's all of it's important, but you're right. Mm-hmm. Once people are hearing from you, there's less of the potential for things to go astray when you're emailing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, it's a more intimate thing. You got to think of it as a relationship building. Once you're sending emails to somebody, you're dating in that sense, versus, if you're on social media, it's just, you're cruising the strip. Like the old days, you're cruising the strip, you're on Richmond Street, you're going up and down Richmond. I don't know about Chatham. I'm talking London. So you're cruising the strip, and you know what I mean? It's just a very different experience. And so let's talk about some ways then that people can build a list. Let's not focus on social media, because, again, there's lots of things you can do to get people to like your page. You can run awareness of ads. You can run all kinds of stuff for people to like you and follow you. Then how do we go ahead and get them off of Facebook and onto your list, Horatio? What are some of the different strategies that could be used?
Sure. So I think the first thing we need to talk about here is the long-term strategy. This is the slow game, right? These are, and it kind of breaks my heart that this is a conversation that we have to have all the time, because, when somebody comes into your practice and they're not getting the results, right away, and they're upset, the first thing that you tell them is, things take time, mm-hmm. and, you should be doing this for a lifetime, and chiropractic is a lifestyle. I'm telling you that creating your list and marketing your business and communicating and creating relationships with people in your community is a lifestyle. It's a lifetime thing. Right. So if you start your list and you're all bummed, that after the first year of trying to grow this thing, you only got 20 people on there, I'm going to tell you that that's awesome, because that means that 20 people get to hear from you on a regular basis. And now you're changing those people's lives from the information that you're sending. Right. So that's really like the most important step, number one. Right. Now, how you do it is, in general, you exchange something valuable for their email address. Right. Okay. Right? Like for us, what's a gift card to come into your practice, which is much different than a discount on an examination, access to a video or access to something that you've created that's helpful to them. Okay.
Like anything exercises else? Or like a PDF
exercises,
or like
a PDF, mm-hmm. getting going into your community and finding other people with a list and saying, hey, I know you found help, or I was wondering if you could do me a favor and tell your list about me and get on my list, right? So, leveraging other people who have an email list, if those people like you and your information is actually good, they'll be more than likely to email that list and tell them to check you out and get on your list. Is another good way to do it, right? Maybe bargaining your time in exchange and your expertise to get on other people's lists, right? So, give something or do something for someone who has a list. And as a result, they will email their list about you. It's about exposure, but it ends up with the person exchanging their email address to get onto your list.
Right. So essentially you're going to exchange something for an email. And then it's just a matter of figuring out how you're going to put that in front of them. And this is where it comes down to more of the advertising side, like, creating an ad that catches their eye, something that stops them in their news feed, something that then has them click through to a place where they will then go ahead and enter their name and email, and then you move them to your list. Now, I think it's also...
Yeah, but hold on for 1 second. Let me just play devil's advocate. So how many patient files do you have altogether?
In this practice?
Whatever practice.
In this practice, maybe 1,000.
Sure. And so everyone comes in weekly, right? So you're seeing 1,000 visits a week?
No, not.
Exactly. My point is, unless you're very new, you already have a list. You have all of the files of the people who have come in, who are still there, or who have stopped coming. Right. So one of the things that you can get your staff to do is to open up all those dusty boxes, right? Open up the names and start inputting the emails into the list, and then emailing the people and asking for permission. You have to ask them for permission because maybe they don't want to hear from you, but get their okay to send them emails. So my point is, you already have access to thousands of names that, of people who have already come in, more than likely have had a good experience and would more than likely be okay hearing from you on at least a semi-regular basis.
Right. So what you're saying is, if you have no list, start with the list that you probably already have, which is your practice files. And then your next step would be to probably, if you're not collecting emails on intake form, get that on there ASAP. And then with your active database, what I would do is I would put out a newsletter or a handout and actually start passing around a clipboard and capturing people's name and email, or just having your staff ask them when they leave the office for the next 4 weeks, and get as many of those emails as you can. Or heck, I would just print off the practice active list and have it at the front desk, get everybody's email, ask them if they want to be on your email list and get valuable information that's going to help them. And then you can just tick their name as you're collecting all the emails, and you're slowly just enter them into the CRM. So if you don't have those two, I agree with Horatio. Why don't we start there? And then we can start talking about how to actually email them, which we'll do next week. Then we can talk more advanced stuff like creating ads that drive people to a specific place to exchange their email for something that is going to be valuable for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is an example where, the tried and true is usually the best. Like, you already have access and leverage points. You have to start with the low hanging fruit. It might be uncomfortable. It might be timely. You might have to pay your staff. You might have to do it if you're very new in practice, but that's really the best starting point. So now your list can literally go from 0 to 200 in a weekend. That's pretty awesome. Like, there's no social media there's no social media campaign that's going to be able to get that for you.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true, for sure. One other list that I thought of, Horatio, other than email and other than, say, social media in the feed, we would consider this a list for us, is we have a private Facebook group. And the private Facebook group for us is, when we started, it was really something that I was thinking of for the center, for Life by Design, for people who are members of the gym and the office and so on. Then I just thought, why am I keeping it restricted to those people? And so we expanded it a bit and turned it into a sub-brand called Your Extraordinary Life Chatham, Kent. So it's a local brand, but we've grown that list to over 400 people so far. And in there, I'm able to do similar to the email, but I'll do live videos, webinars, and do content posting in there that's more similar to what we do with Life by Design Elite and Light. By the way, guys, Light, Chris, do we have a date on when that's going to launch?
I believe it's the 3rd.
March 23rd, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Okay. So guys, look out for that. We'll send emails about that. So if you're on the email list, and you've heard us talk about this new Life by Design Light program that we're starting, which we're pretty excited about. So it's an opportunity for people to jump inside the Light group, super low barrier of entry. It's going to be less than what it's going to cost you to essentially equal to the one visit. Essentially. So, if we can't add that kind of value, then obviously I'm not sure why you're listening to the podcast, but, jump inside the Light group, and I think you'll get a ton out of that. But it's very similar to that in the sense, Horatio.
Are we missing anything, Rochelle?
I think so.
I think we got everything?
Yeah.
Okay, Rochelle's giving me the okay, so I think we've hit everything.
We got it? We're good?
Yeah,
You did.
Okay.
I'm going to start my own list now.
You should. Actually, that's another great point. Like when it comes to list building, or when it comes to just, attracting attention, I wish I was a beautiful woman, not a square-headed, droopy-eyed Eastern European man, because my list would be so much bigger if I just leveraged that.
Well, you're just gonna have to go with what you got. I've heard, Cratio, you've got a lot of interesting replies to your local list. So I don't sell yourself short, Cratio. Don't sell yourself short.
Exactly. It's true. That's true. That is very true. I do have a bit of a fan club growing. So as to say.
So, guys, make sure you're prepared for the fan club that's going to start when you start building your list and start creating your content. But I know you got a lot out of today's show. I think this is a really great, when people talk about marketing, they can get really fancy. And I think this is a really important piece of a strategy, is having a list that you can send messages to, whether it's online or offline. And we talked today about the value of both and how to get started. Like I said, check out the show notes. We'll put in there the link to our CRM that we recommend our clients use, which is ConvertKit. So we'll put our link in there. And then we'll put a place where you can go ahead and try and get on our email list. Not try, but go and get on our email list so you can see how we do this and how you might apply this for your business and practice. And then pay attention over the next few weeks for the launch for Life by Design Lite. So we're all excited for that, guys. And thank you, as always, for listening to Life by Design for Chiropractors, the voice of reason in chiropractic.